The following podcast contains coarse language and adult themes. This week on the show, the President of the United States is a massive angry red monster. And we're also talking about Captain America Brave New World. I'm Riggs.
I'm Eddie.
And this is the Film Addicts podcast. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Film Addicts podcast. I'm here with Addy. What's happening?
Everything is okay, which is weird.
Terrific. Awesome. You haven't turned into a huge red hulking monster at any point with a normal man's pink penis?
No.
See one of our first episodes for that? I don't know what episode. Was that the Doctor Strange episode?
That was the Doctor Strange episode.
You know what's funny? Little bit of inside baseball here for you folks. Those of you who know the show and follow the show probably know this, but if you're new to the show, we have quite a few episodes, and they can all be found in the archive on YouTube and the other podcast captures. But we now have a dedicated Instagram page for just the podcast because we've been running it sort of through our own ones for a little while, and so we've got a proper one. It's just the Film Addicts podcast, all one word. So you should go and check it out. We're going to be posting fun things. One of the fun things we're going to be posting is some behind the scenes shits. And what on earth are you doing? Don't do sight gags. People don't know. One of the things we're doing is going to be doing some behind the scenes shits. And like re-uploading some old promos and stuff. But one of the things I found, Daddy, in my archive was a bunch of episodes that we used to record on Zoom. So I have the video.
Oh, shit.
Of a bunch of episodes. And one of them, I think, is the Doctor Strange episode. So I'll be able to have a look and see what our face reactions were when we're talking about Hulk's dick. So more of that to come, everybody. Go to Instagram now. Anyway. More of that to come. But anyway, fuck all that noise. What's going on? What's happening with you?
Nothing much. I do want to take some time and shout out Chaz because today's his birthday, at least when we're recording it.
Hey! So the 23rd of Feb or 24th of Feb? 24th. Well, it might not be.
Yeah,
he's still tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that's, well, good on you, Chaz. Happy birthday, mate. 21 again, hey? You beautiful fucker. He looks about 19, the kid. I don't know. Be a bit younger than me, probably. I don't know. How old are you, Chaz? Let us know in the comments. And also, what's your location and what are you wearing? Fucking ball gag, I bet. Don't do that. You don't know that about him. Anyway, can you steer me away from what's happening?
Yes.
I'm trying desperately to do it myself.
How are you doing?
I am wired for sound, apparently. Literally, because we're doing a podcast. Yeah, no, I'm good. I've just been running around a lot today and getting things done, but there's never enough time. Have you been watching any cool shit?
I have, but before we start, I have a genuine question.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's me looking intently. I think I just breathed in the microphone. Sorry for money. Stop derailing the show. I'm getting in trouble for this. I must say. Like, I'll say a lot of Mike. I don't mind. Cable from the Sequel Suck podcast. Beautiful, beautiful Cable. Wonderful gentleman. And Gus as well, who run that show. Just love those guys. And they have me on all the time now, and I really do love it. And my friend Sean, who I've been friends with for a really long time, we just rap. But me and Sean have a tendency to steer from the topic. I'm bad enough, but then with Sean, it's like our powers combined, we make Captain fucking detergent or tangent, and we go off on things that aren't even. We did an episode on Under Siege 2, and Cable was like, there's about 30 minutes of Under Siege 2 and almost like 90 minutes of you guys talking fucking guff. So he was like, we're doing an episode tomorrow on King with the Crystal Skull. And he's like, if we can stay on course, that'd be really great. And Gus is like, good luck. So I'm looking forward to it, gents, but I'll do my darndest. But yeah, I did that. I did it again.
That's fine. I love your tangents.
Yeah, I can't help it. It's just my brain doesn't work right. What was the question again?
Yes, my genuine question to the MCU and to everybody listening or watching is that they adapted Red Hulk quite perfectly from the comics, like, his clothes burn off and all that shit. My question is, when he comes, does it like just evaporate? Because it's just it's just so much heat.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, what are you doing, monkey? Hang on. Paul, I mean, I love you, mate, but don't get amongst all the cables, please. Poor bugger. Paul, my cat Paul. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, or is it like fucking lava and like, it comes on your chin and just like melts you down to a skeleton or something. You know what I mean? Like it would platinum. Like the alien monsters whose blood is acid. He's got lava cum. There's a sentence I didn't expect to say today.
So there's lava cum, and then it just it's what happens in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where it just rapidly ages, but it's the other way.
Or it's at the end of the Raiders of the Lost Ark when they open the Ark of the Covenant and everybody melts. This might be the new Hulk's dick joke. So Hulk's dick is small and pink, so that he can have sex with human women and men or whoever he wants. I don't know. And also, Red Hulk, if that's what we're going to call him, lava cum that'll melt your face off. Wow. The one that I wanted to know was, how come his pants didn't burn off and he wasn't just walking around flapping huge red dong? Do you reckon he has a foreskin?
I would hope so. There's more to play around.
For him or you? You'd have to do it with tongs or something because you couldn't. You couldn't, like, you know what I mean? You have to do it with the two oven mitts like this. No one can see me, but I'm doing two oven mitts either side of my head, because it's hot and cummy. Oh my god! With 9 minutes, we were in 9 minutes. About a minute and a half of me was fucking not doing anything. Okay. Hot and cummy is not allowed to be said for the rest of the show. Okay, here we go. We're going to talk about it. It's legit. It's Captain America, Brave New World. I keep going to say Bold New World. We're going to talk about it. Before we get to that, we're going to steer away from Hulk for the time being and all of his appendages and huge, angry red testes. And we're going to talk about what will be.
Let's do what are we?
Watching. You did it again. Okay, now 10 minutes in and we've already peaked. My goodness. Okay, so what have we been watching? It's kind of good that we're doing weekly now because I don't have like a huge long list anymore. So I've only got like 2 things. We're going to have a little sip of tea here. A little ASMR for you asses. Riggs enjoys rooibos. I think that's how it's pronounced. You know, that South African tea that doesn't have caffeine in it. Rooibos. Rooibos. Okay, I'm coming back to me. What have I been watching? Fuck my hole. The Substance? Absolutely not. No. The answer is no to that movie. Under all circumstances. Not for Riggs. And it's executed really, really well. Yeah, I loved all the practical effects stuff they were doing. And it was really well directed. And I love the performances. Margaret Qualley was amazing. Demi Moore was really, really great. It's really visceral. Like, I really felt it. But that's the problem. Like, body horror, I was just... By the time we got to that third act, I couldn't do it anymore. Like, I got to the last, I think, 10 minutes, and I was like, nah, I get it. I get it, everyone. Well done, well executed, but not for me. It's like that film Society, like the shunting and all that stuff. It was just, nah. No, thank you. And the other one I watched last night, which I actually really enjoyed the first half of, is The Gorge.
Oh.
Yeah. On Apple TV. Apple TV does some good programs and some good movies. And this is Miles Teller and...
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy, thank you. Playing...
Spies? People
who are sort of on the dual side of... No, not really. They're expendable military people who are playing dual sides of this Gorge thing, and it's like a... It's... have to go there for a year, and it's like they're stationed by themselves, and they're not supposed to talk to each other, and they talk to each other and fall in love, and it's really quite nice, actually. I enjoyed it. And they're great. They had great charisma together. I like Miles Teller. I know he's not supposed to, but I think he's really talented and very subtle as an actor in a lot of his work. But and the dude's yoked. Like, he's absolutely cut out of marble in this one. Anyway, I was really enjoying it, and it was directed by someone, or it was written by someone really really good too. Oh, it was directed by Scott Derrickson, the guy who did Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Really well done, really competent, until they get into the gorge.
Oh,
and I'm like, well, fuck.
Don't spoil it then.
Well, no, I mean, it's kind of, you know what's going to happen, because in the trailer he falls and she jumps after him, and that's where it lost me, and I won't tell you any more about what happens.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, I enjoyed it enough that I finished it, instead of, you know, fast forwarding the last 10 minutes to find out, you know, if someone turns into a puddle or not. But yeah. What about you? What have you been watching? Sorry, I had a hiccup like a cartoon mouse.
Oh, really cute.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm adorable.
Going back to the substance, it just wasn't for me. That's why I told you that don't ask me for my opinion, because it just wasn't. I really loved the hag look that she had.
Yeah, towards the end.
Yeah, but not what it eventually becomes. Like, that was a bit too far. Also, that's not only was it a bit too far, it was also, you could have talked about a lot of body dysmorphia in that, and you just didn't.
Oh, okay, yeah, and actually, I mean, it was making a pretty strong statement about, you know, beauty culture and you know, what women go through in particular as far as aging is concerned, and how it has so much to do with their value, their societal value, and, you know, the value is in the jobs that they perform, whether they're celebrities or models or whatever. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, body dysmorphia, because it really didn't do that, because it was so over the top.
I want to erase that film from my memory, because I watched it because everybody else said that it was really cool, and then I did not end up liking it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I nearly went and saw it at the Astor, because they were doing a double bill of it with Nicholas Winding Refn's film Neon Demon, which I really do like. It's one of my favourite horror movies of all time. But I couldn't go for some reason that night. I can't remember why. I think I might have been shooting, or anyway, something was happening. And I'm glad I didn't, because I wouldn't have enjoyed it. And Neon Demon was second, so I would have been sitting there stewing in the juices of the substance, and then might ruin the experience of the film that I actually like. So yeah, no, you can keep it, everyone. I'm glad you enjoyed it, if you did, but yeah, not for me. What else are you do?
So yesterday I got a chance to watch Sing Sing in theaters. So I watched it because they had a Sing Sing run, but yeah, I was in total bed rest at that point.
Yeah, right.
So I went and watched it. It was just one showing this week, and I went and watched it, and I loved it even more.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I hate that I watched it after we did our top 10 episode, because that would have been number one.
Yeah, right. And
then I watched Nosferatu. I rewatched Nosferatu in theaters again today.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
And how was it?
It was fucking brilliant. With the surround sound and everything. It was like, I understand the criticism of the film, because it's not a retelling or like an improvement of the original. It's just a remake with Edgar's style, and that's all I wanted.
But the original Nosferatu is a silent movie. Like, you can't even, I don't even think you can judge them on the same merits. They're made 100 years apart. Like, it's just, it's not a remake, you know. I don't know. I feel like the statute of limitations, like when it's, you know, 21 and someone's remaking Captain America, no one's going to give a shit, because they're like, oh, well, that movie wasn't downloaded directly into our brains like it is now, so that doesn't count, you know, or something. I don't know. I'm going to be very dead by then, so it doesn't matter. In fact, everybody will be. Everybody we know.
Except for the show, probably.
Thing. Watching too much of The Gorge. Yeah. Okay. What else? Anything else?
I've been watching The Crown. on Netflix.
Oh yeah, the dramatized version of the Royals story. How is it?
It's surprisingly really good. Like I watched it like years ago when season 3 was coming out, and I couldn't get past like the first season because I thought like going in like also I was fucking like what? I was 14. That's a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also did not understand most of the things that were happening, but revisiting season 1 and then watching season 2, it's really well, like a really well made show, and I kind of understand why I had to diet down, because at some point you risk of becoming a parody of something that's too important to some people and then not important at all to some people.
Yeah, I don't have an enormous opinion about it. Emily's watched it. I live in a monarchy, but it doesn't. I have no feeling towards those unelected sponges. They should surely stay out of the media, but I guess that's not really their fault. Cool. All right. Well, is that all you've watched? Have you been watching other things? What an interesting collection of shit. Like of movies that you watched. You watched Sing Sing, Nosferatu, and The Crown. Like that'd be like saying, yeah, I'm just gonna have some of that roast beef, with a cantaloupe, and also eat this comb. Like none of those things really go together. But anyway, you know what does go together? Us and doing news articles. Do you want to do the nerd news?
Let's do the nerd news.
Here we are. It's nerd news as of February the 24th, 2025. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are getting an R-rated live-action adaptation of the comic book series The Last Ronin. This is very, very cool. Last year, Paramount officially greenlit the film. It will be a live-action adaptation of the best-selling comic and is expected to aim for an R rating, a first for the franchise. You excited for this shit? I fucking love that idea.
Yeah, I have my gripes about it, but if you hear the ground shaking or feel it, it's probably because one is just dancing his ass off because this is all he's ever wanted. So I'm happy for him.
I did think of him. Yeah, I did think of him. Even if they did it animated, it's still pretty cool. But I think doing it live action is really interesting. I think the sensibility, like the graphic tone of the Michael Bay pictures, the two that they did, would really work for this story because they were photorealistic and everyone was like, oh, that's weird. And I'm like, it's only weird because you've been looking at cartoons for the last 20 or 5 years or whatever. Yeah, but I think it'll really work and it's a good story. It's a really interesting story. I think it's correct me if I'm wrong, Juan, but everybody dies but Raph. And I think he's left behind. Is that the right thing? Might be Leonardo. Anyway, Juan, can you hit us up in the comments and let us know? And I'll read out your questions today. Okay, this is a bit. I thought we'd do a bit of comic book news.
Just it coming turtles.
We've got coming turtles. We've got coming Red Hulks. Fuck! It's been. Oh goodness. No, I just read comics a lot, and we're gonna be writing some together, and I just feel like comic news could be cool because that's nerd shit, and I love comics. I really do. Artist George Jimenez is returning to the Batman title, and Batman itself is being relaunched in 2025 with a new suit, a new symbol, and a new city. I don't know what that means, but this new run, this new change-up run, is being written by fan favorite Matt Fraction, who has done some incredible work on Iron Man, Iron Fist as well. Lots of fisting in that one, but probably most famously, he wrote the Hawkeye run that the TV series is written for, and it's one of the best series of Marvel comic books you've ever read. He's incredibly gifted and really, really interesting creator. Has got a couple of great indie series as well. Sex Criminals is one, but to see him, playing in DC and in the Batman sort of arena with that particular artist who is fantastic. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, I just looked up the art. Fucking cool as shit.
It looks good, doesn't it? Yeah, it's got a little bit of Dan Moria, the guy who's really popular at the moment, or Dan Mora, who worked on World's Finest and Shazam and Justice League Unlimited. Really, really talented artist. Yeah, I like the big bat on the chest. I really dig that big, like the graphic without the circle. We'll put it up on the Instagram page, everybody. I'll share this. Yeah, I don't know when that is, but I don't collect single issues anymore because it's far too expensive. So I might get a collected edition if Fraction's working on it. Love it. Okay. 3. And that's it. What do you think about that number?
It's the magic number.
What are you talking about? It is. It's not the loneliest number. That's 1. Anyway, 2 can be as bad as 1. It is the loneliest number since the number 1. But hang on, sorry. I fucking lost my train of thought. What are we doing again?
Nerd news.
Thank you. Fucking hell. Okay. 3 MCU TV shows in development have been stopped by Marvel after a major TV overhaul. The series were Nova, Strange Academy, which is a fucking bummer because that's a great idea, and Terra Inc. I don't know what that one would be, but they're currently on hold indefinitely. That's a bummer.
That's a bummer.
I would have liked to have seen those, yeah.
Yeah, 2 of them, we had no idea were happening, but yeah, Nova was in development for, I believe they announced it 2021.
Yeah, right.
And it's been in development. It was in development until late 23, even 24. I remember Brian Winderbaum talking about it during the press run for Agatha All Along.
I'm sorry, who?
Brad Winderbaum, who is the president of Marvel.
Winderbaum? What is it?
It's Brad Winderbaum, who is the president of Marvel Television.
Amazing. The POTUS. Oh, that's not the POTUS, it'd be president of Marvel Television. Pimped. Anyway, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it's like you said, we didn't actually know they were coming, but okay, good on them. Do a second season of Moon Knight, will you? Fuck. It's a bummer because I think I've watched Moon Knight 3 times now, and every time I watch it, I like it more. It will never get to Hawkeye as being my number 1 favorite show, and we talked about why that is, and I'm not going to go through it again, but I really love Moon Knight. We did a whole episode on it actually, and I've got the video for that too. So we're gonna really mine these videos with some shit. Anyway, this next one I'm excited about. I think it's more possible than it's ever been. Yeah, or another Spider-Man. That is Charlie Cox speaking on his want for Daredevil to appear in Avengers: Doomsday and Secret Wars. Now, this Daredevil show is a fucking juggernaut, and it's not even open yet. I have not spoken to a person who isn't like Tommy was talking about it on the show the other day. He's like, oh, I need to get Disney Plus back because Daredevil's coming out. Wait for their subscriptions to rise dramatically during those few weeks that it's going to be releasing, and it's going to absolutely kill. Do it. Just fucking put him in it, or put him in the Spider-Man one. It makes perfect sense if this series, this season and then the following season do what I think they're going to do, which ends up going to be Dark Reign, where he literally becomes a warlord and takes over Hell's Kitchen and makes it a no-go zone, and he is judge, jury, and executioner. Makes perfect sense to have Spider-Man come in or whomever. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. That fucking show looks great. I'm really excited. I'm excited to do our episode on season 3 next week as well.
I'm not sure that would work for Daredevil as a show. I think it works in the comics. I don't think that will work in the show.
Him taking over Hell's Kitchen?
Especially with the climate
No,
right
that's
now.
how you bring the Defenders back in, man. It's perfect. Makes perfect sense.
Oh, they all go up
and you bring it
against him?
back. Yeah, you bring it back and you bring the same cast back. I know nobody likes the fucking kid who playing Iron Fist, but whatever, give him a chance, and bring back Kristen Ritter. I think it's Michael Coulter played Nick Cage. Nick Cage? He didn't play Nick Cage. Nick Cage plays Nick Cage. He does every single days. Yeah, so bring back Mike Coulter as Power Man, and have them have a kid. like they do in the comics. So it's the Jessica Jones and Luke. I keep going to say Nick Cage and Luke Cage have a kid. We bring Punisher into it, like have him be like, okay, Matt's gone over to the dark side and I've got to save him. Like there's a great. I've got to reread these actually. There's a great part of the story during Brian Michael Bendis's run of Daredevil in the late 90s or maybe early 2000s, where Daredevil ended up in prison and the Punisher gave himself up to the cops so that he could be put into prison to help bust Daredevil out. And it's fucking gangster. It's awesome. It's really, really cool.
That's cool.
Sorry, was that loud, was it?
No. Yes, that's cool. And if you do that, then if you adapt that part of the story into like just what season 2 would do, then that could be a callback to season 2 of the original show, where we see Frank just fucking murder a bunch of people in the prison.
Going down that hallway where all the doors open. Yeah, I'm looking forward to rewatching 3. Actually, I'm gonna start from the top again. Excellent. Speaking of Daredevil Born Again, season 2 has begun filming. I'm going to tell you that much. The people who did Loki season 2, Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, will return to direct. It's on. Like this thing it's hitting the ground. I fucking love Daredevil. He's my favorite Marvel character. Like Frank Miller said, he's the perfect hard-boiled superhero. Hell's Kitchen's a dope fucking place as well. Now that I've been there, I have even more affection for it. Too cool, man. Too cool. I got one more story. Little cheeky one. It's also a little bit of a tease for something we might be doing in the future. Constantine is getting a 4K re-release, and I think there's definitely a re-evaluation going on for this film. It wasn't Hellblazer. It wasn't a British guy in a long coat working with Swamp Thing and in London. It was Keanu Reeves with black hair and fighting demons in New York or LA or whatever that unnamed town was. But I think it's getting a bit of people looking at it going, actually, there was something there. It's beautifully made. It's wonderfully stylized. Francis Lawrence, the director, is quite talented. I really like some of his work. DC Studios has permitted the development of Constantine 2 as a potential Elseworlds movie, the director says. I haven't felt this excited about how real it could be in 20 years since we made the first one. It has a real possibility with Keanu returning. Make it fucking happen, all right? If you can let people spend 6 years making the second Batman movie, you can let this guy punch out a fucking Constantine 2 or a Constantine, Cole and Hellblazer or whatever you want to call it. I think it's really, really cool.
And
have you seen that?
Yeah, I was too young to actually understand it, but I've seen it. I was like fucking.
Well, I mean, the 4K comes out in March. I'm getting it. We need to do an episode. Let us know in the comments, everybody, or send us a private message or anything. Would you like to see us do an episode on Constantine and reevaluate it from a positive standpoint? I've always had a good relationship with that film, but just we're a positive show, so achingly so.
There's one more story, the one that I sent you, Hawkeye season 2.
Shut your fucking dirty mouth.
Did you not
see it? No, I didn't see that part. Marvel for sure wants Agatha all along season 2, but... Marvel for sure, in quotations, wants Agatha all along, but let's not rush it. Hawkeye is another one that feels like it can get a second seat. No shit! No shit! No shit! Do it quickly before fucking poor old what's-her-face runs into another combine harvester or whatever the hell happened to the dude. Like, please make that happen. That would be awesome. I could do one of those a year and always set them at Christmas. It's always Christmas time, What about Agatha all along? I thought that tied up really nicely. I haven't seen it. I'm asking you. I thought you said that.
No, it did tie really nicely. As in, it was a second act of a 3-act story that they've been trying to tell with WandaVision, Agatha, and then Vision Quest.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, Catherine Hahn loves the character, and Kevin Feige and team don't want the character to die off. That is very prominent in the show. So yeah, I will always love more of Agatha and that world.
Yeah, I'm right there with you if it's a good story. But as we both know, Disney hates gay witches, or whatever you said last week.
That's it. That's probably exactly what I said.
Yeah, it's pretty. I think you said lesbian witches, but they certainly don't hate Christmas hard of hearing people. So let's do that. I haven't watched that Echo show either. I'm going to have to watch that too. Man, so much content, folks. That's cool. I'm very excited about that. There's no more information than that, everybody. It's just this is what's up. So fingers crossed that happens when we get more of that stuff. Fingers crossed also that we get to talk about our main topic without me interrupting all the time. It's Captain America: Brave New World, Captain America 4. Sans Chris Evans. We have Anthony Mackie playing Cap himself, reprising his role. That he was Falcon, obviously. 1 second here. We also have, of course, Harrison Ford playing Thaddeus Ross, replacing William Hurt, who passed away. We've got Danny Ramirez playing Keen Torres. Bunch of other ones. Tim Blake Nelson returning as Sam Stearns from the Hulk picture from fucking 50 years ago or whatever. Giancarlo Esposito as Sidewinder. We also have a bunch of other people that I don't want to mention in case I accidentally spoil something. We're going to keep it fairly spoiler-free, and then we will say spoilers, and then we'll start talking about one of the more significant things that happen. It's directed by Julius Onah and written by everybody. Everybody had a writer this one. 700 people. But I think mostly it was kind of spearheaded by Malcolm Spellman, who wrote the series that it's kind of a direct sequel of, which is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, you all know what happens. You've seen the trailer, so we're just going to talk about it instead of like going through what happens. Tell me about your experience of seeing this picture. Were you excited about going to see it? We talked about it briefly, and I said I was pretty keen because it looked interesting. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think I had the same sentiment because I wasn't really excited, but I was looking forward to it, especially with them touching on Eternals, which I never thought they would do.
In the new MCU, you know what is funny? It's like the meme that I can't remember if you sent me or someone sent me the other day, and it was Paul Mescal standing at some sort of Hollywood-style party or whatever. He's on the red carpet, and he's standing there, and there's a gorgeous blonde like next to him, smiling at him like keenly, like really excited to be with him. He's like just sort of half smiling, looking off into the distance, and on her dress, they've like photoshopped all the posters of the new Marvel movies, of like this one and, the series and, Black Widow and all that stuff, everything post-Endgame. And then it cuts to another shot and you see him standing in the background in the same sort of position with that girl, and there's Daisy Edgar Jones, and she's just looking stunning, and he's like looking at her, and she's got on the dress and she's got on like the pre-Endgame images. It feels like that. The whole thing kind of feels like that,
I have gone to big with the people who say that, Marvel peaked with Endgame, because we live in a time where people are hateful towards things that they don't wish to understand. And I feel like I'm the only one who gets really annoyed when people act as if those pre-Endgame movies weren't like average, or weren't not all of them are masterpieces. None of them were. And the fact that they were then able to tell a cohesive story that came to a conclusion in Endgame is totally different from those individual films. Like the fucking Thor: The Dark World was one of the biggest flops of Marvel, and then they took out nuggets of that and sprinkled it in Infinity War and Endgame, where you actually now you can go back and enjoy that film. I feel like people view pre-Endgame stuff with rose-tinted glasses, and then it becomes the only lens that they review it from, like as if all of it was masterpiece after masterpiece, and it wasn't. I feel like Marvel has like, they have tried to do different things, and doing different things, they have upset people who wanted to see something and then it wasn't something. Like the criticism of saying that, Sam Wilson is cool. I just don't see him as Captain America. It's like, that's the point. That's the point the show made. That's the point that the film was making. And it's the same kind of criticism that I don't like Kylo Ren because he's too much like Darth Vader. That's the point.
I think people skirt the point a lot. I think that's kind of part of it. Like two things really quickly before I come back to you. One is people need to let go of what they want, what their wants are, like what they want these things to be, and just I said it on Tommy's show, just surrender. Just learn about letting go and let these things be what they are. And if it's not for you, then it's not for you. You know, we always say that. Just move on. There's something else coming. Maybe thunderbolts will blow your tits off. You never know. That's sort of, you know, really critical. And I also think this picture in particular is bearing the brunt of all this because it's the only one that's felt like it almost feels like a new start for two reasons. One is COVID kind of fucked up their rhythm post Endgame. It really did. I feel like, and then Disney Plus, all the shows and everything, like it's all become so impenetrable based on like this film alone. It's you know, got ties to Incredible Hulk, which is only the second film that they made. They weren't even Marvel Studios yet. Eternals, which is post Endgame. Captain America Winter Soldier, which is a TV show. Like it's just, there's so much going on that it's becoming like comic books. Like if you pick up an Avengers comic, just a random Avengers comic, like not number one of a new series, and even then, but pick up Avengers 17 of the whatever the current series is, or pick up an X-Men. X-Men's even worse. Like there's absolutely no way that you're going to figure out what the fuck's going on with anybody without having read, you know, 17 years worth of stuff previous. So yeah, the movies are starting to feel a little bit like that. And I feel like this is bearing the brunt of it because it is that kind of that fresh start. And also having to be the first film out of the gate that is actively course correcting after the loss of Jonathan Majors is really, really, you know, difficult for it. It had a huge hoe to row. And it's doing fine, like, you know, money-wise. It made its money back. It's not going to be a billionaire blockbuster, but yeah, I think people really need to give it a chance and kind of let it be what it is.
Also, this is not that first film. I think that was the Marvels, and you know, people didn't watch it for reasons.
Of what? Ladies, fucking ladies in the movie, ladies and black men.
Yes,
fuck it.
But yeah, also, I just feel like this film is in the wrong phase.
Yeah, you said that. What? I don't understand.
Should have been right after. Like this film should have been like maximum a year after the Falcon and the Winter Soldier ended, because I feel like the arcs in this one are just rehash of a better version of that arc that already exists in that show. Like Sam Wilson is still trying to feel like he's enough and trying to be his best as he can with Captain America. And that's a whole arc that he goes on in that show. And then he comes out, talks to the press, and is in the fucking Captain America suit. So, like, his arc there is completed. This film went into reshoots 6 months before.
I know, Giancarlo Esposito's character wasn't even in it.
Yes.
They were doing shoots in December or some shit, you know?
They were doing reshoots, and like I believe they wrapped reshoots in December or November. So taking that into account, it seems seamless where like they added stuff and where they like took out stuff. It seems a little obvious if you've seen literally every single clip that they've put out. But I feel like their biggest flaw was the show Red Hot.
Of course it was. Yeah, I mean but you got to. They're so worried about people buying this stuff anymore because their track record over the last few years hasn't been great. You know, even something that did well and was really good, like No Way Home, it's so convoluted and so like plot heavy. Like it's not just a story about a young kid with spider powers fighting, you know, a guy who's got 8 legs or whatever the fuck. It's all these other universes and you have to have previous with them and all that, and it works for people, but it's not, you know, Captain America the First Avenger or anything like that. So I think that's kind of working against them. And now I forgot my point. Yes, sorry, yeah. Showing that is about getting bums on seats, which is silly because you don't need it. Like it's not The way that the first couple of trailers worked, they made it seem like this weird kind of glitchy Manchurian Candidate style film where Isaiah Bradley, who's excellent, is like the best part of the film in my opinion. I love that story arc. Think about the super soldier who they tested on before Cap. Of course, it was going to be a person of color. Of course, it was going to be a minority. Who then, when the test was successful, which it isn't always, of course they lock him up. Like it makes perfect sense for the timeline, of that story, and for that particular character too. For, that arc to kind of finish nicely. That's where the story was. It was that kind of thing, and the big bad was Giancarlo kind of being manipulated by somebody in the Serpent Society and all this kind of stuff, and Cap's now kind of working for the president, which is something Steve actively fought against. And then there's that great scene where he's like, "You're not Steve Rogers," and he's like, "I know," or he said, "I'm not." And then a few scenes later, he's like, "Oh, how could I possibly live up to that?" Well, you didn't have a problem with it before. Like, I think those reshoots and also the need to have Red Hulk be the main antagonist in a lot of ways. It's that's not giving much away, everybody. It's that fight is basically in the wrong place.
It's in the first fucking trailer. Yeah. That like that fight
I was in an airport. I was at an airport in New Jersey, and there was a huge banner across the side of like one of the terminals that was just Hulk's massive red fist punching, Captain America's shield. Like, everybody knew what was coming. But I think the Hulk stuff works really well. Like, the actual animation and everything is really top notch, and they've like animated Harrison Ford onto it incredible. They've even animated his scar that he's got on his chin that he's had for years and years. Really great, and I do like that sequence. I think it's really interesting. Apart from the fact that he would turn Cap into mince, like this, he's got, I think the stuff sort of helps him out. The armor he's wearing and everything, but it's a good sequence. It's just in the wrong place. I feel like that is the middle fight, and Cap loses, but still manages. They subdue Hulk or whatever, but he is broken and battered and bruised, and then has to go to the final fight, which is in the skies over the celestial body, fighting with the Chinese warships or the Japanese warships. Sorry. That's the big climactic thing for me, was that aerial battle, which really, really worked. Like, that reminded me of fucking the classic Iron Man movies. Like, it was really doing some shit.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Also, I feel like the version of, like, I'm really, like, like you said before, like, I really want to see what the first draft of the story was. Because of all the reshoots, I think the Red Hulk was the only thing that they could keep. And once they showed that footage in Comic-Con, they were like, okay, that's all we have to show now. But the problem with that is, I think people have just bought tickets if they just wanted to see Harrison Ford in an MCU film. Like, it didn't really have to be him as Red Hulk. And then him being Red Hulk by the end of it. Or just having the fight scene at the end with just him being Thunderbolt the entire film. I think the rating would have been much higher, because then that would have been a splash.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, thematically, it's more interesting for him to get to that point, realize what has been done to him. I won't say what, how he got to that place to be the Red Hulk. Then that fight happens end of the second act or middle of the second act, and then he's in the prison. Like, he's in prison at the end of it, like, for the rest of that thing. And he's working with Sam to try and figure it the fuck out. Like, who did this? Who manipulated us? What's the real game here? I feel like there's drama to be mined there. And it would also give Harrison a bit more to do. Like, he is really good in this, and he commits. And go to any interview he's done on this press tour. It is a delight. He's having a real good time and counting the money. And it's fucking awesome. No, he's even said it before, you know what I mean? Did you see the interview with him when he was in Blade Runner 2049? And they said to him, what have you got, like, what's your career goal or whatever? He goes, to be really famous and makes heaps of money. And Ryan Gosling just starts, like, crying with laughter. He's a fucking gem. He's an absolute gem. He'll always be my indie. Anyway, he's really great. He's really good in it. I'm glad it was him. I do think it's really funny because he's be like, I am absolutely not growing a mustache for this role. And then you see that short clip of him with a mustache. And he's like, lose the mustache or lose the presidency. You're like, okay, yeah, that works. I can see that working.
Also, him with the mustache was just, it was perfect.
It was excellent, wasn't it? It really worked. I wonder, though, I mean, how much older than William Hurt would he be, though? Because William Hurt wouldn't... Harrison Ford's nearly 90. William Hurt must have been maybe in his early 60s when he passed away. I'm not really sure. But if he's in his 90s, that means he would have had Betty when he was like 52 or something. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway, that math doesn't really need to work out. It's all good. He could be playing 70 or something. He looks very, very good. He is, of course, Indiana Jones. The other thing that's interesting is I don't really know what the purpose of Red Hulk is.
William Hurt was 71.
Oh, okay. Well, not so different. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I understand like, it's cool to bring in new characters and stuff, but I mean, why that particular one? Maybe, you know what? Maybe it's to give this new Captain America some serious shit, because he talks about it at the beginning. You know, he's having a fight with that mercenary and he cracks a rib and he's sore for the rest of the movie. Like, he is very human, and that's interesting to me. He actively doesn't take the super soldier serum. You know, he's Tommy said it. He's the cap of the people. You know, they're giving him free drinks. He's having a good time in the back of a limo with his partner, Joaquin. You know, and Isaiah Bradley before all the shit jumps off. He's just a normal guy. He's a military man, and he's out there doing the best he can. And for me, that made it even less about race as well than the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was. Like, that was like a lot about race. But yeah, just in terms of having him go up against a white wartime president is more affecting or more arresting than him fighting the Red Hulk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would love to have seen that arc where he tries to work with the government and then he finds out what essentially what the second and third act of Winter Soldier is that you can never trust these people because they will always have agendas and motives, and freedom is free of agenda and motive.
Yeah, that's right. And he's not. Sam is less idealistic than Steve. He is less manacled to the Boy Scout kind of thing. Like, he's a bit. You know, he's a bit of a brawler. I mean, he says it, that great line in Cap 2 where they're talking about going up against S.H.I.E.L.D. / Hydra at the end of it, and they all look at Sam and he's like, don't look at me, I do what he does, only slower. And that's kind of where we're at. You know, he's got all this great tech. You know, he's got the Wakandan armor that kind of absorbs kinetic energy, like it absorbs inertia to be redistributed, which I always thought was silly because it's like a video game or something. But anyway, he's got that going for him. He's pretty proficient with the shield. He's not as fast as Cap. Like at first I thought that it was some of the fights were edited really in a clunky fashion, but it's more just because Sam doesn't fight like Steve. He just can't, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, it's interesting to see the mantle of one of these characters who we knew so well be passed on, because that hasn't happened yet, has it? I mean, Ironheart comes out this year, but
yeah, but that's not in the slightest related to anything with
Iron Man
Man's
never even
legacy.
met that character.
That's not the Riri Williams from the comics. It's an adaptation of some of that story.
Exactly. But yeah, it's and I think Anthony Mackie does a really good job. Like he's not only does he like that conversation that he has with the person who I won't mention because it's a spoiler, but we'll talk about it in a minute. That conversation he has with them is really Anthony Mackie as well, saying, I'm like, I've got a lot of shoes to fill. Like, And he was in, almost as many films as Cat was, as Chris Evans, for the most part, even in a small fashion. But just Chris Evans is now so identifiable as that character. They even were able to make a joke about it in Deadpool and Wolverine. So, and also the theory seems to be that he is going to be the lead of Doomsday, the heroic lead.
No, I don't. I'll set my piece on Doomsday. I just hope that they know what they're doing. That's it. A team led by him as Captain America would be fucking cool to see, because he would not do the things that Steve Rogers did. And he does not have the team that Steve Rogers did. So it'll be cool to see those dynamics.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting as well, that sort of hanging large over the top of this movie is at the beginning of it, General Ross, spoiler, it's not really that much of a spoiler, but General Ross asks Sam to restart the Avengers and pick his own team, I guess.
Oh, it's in the first trailer, so that's fine. The line is in the first trailer where he asks...
Oh, does he? Okay, well, there you go. Spoilers from now on, because we've got to talk about some shit. One, of course, is the inclusion of Tim Blake Nelson as a leader, important character in the Hulk lore. And he sort of saw that kind of start to happen in Incredible Hulk, and then it just sort of went nowhere. And the reason it went nowhere is because Thaddeus Ross had imprisoned him and had him working for him for a long period of time, all the while being poisoned by him. It's interesting to take a character that's been missing from the lore for that long and have him and also the Celestial is really indicative of what Marvel's trying to do. It's like, hey, remember this? Remember all this stuff that stretches all the way through? Like, we're still here. We're still doing it. It was an impressive feat. And I think he's really good. He suffers from, I think, the reshoots. There's definitely some stuff there where they've kind of plugged in at the end to give him more kind of, he's kind of ineffectual without the explanation of, like, I did this because, the sort of the parlor scene, I guess. But yeah, I think he's really quality. What did you reckon? Because it's kind of like him and Giancarlo Esposito are like vying for who's the real villain of this picture, and then bang, it ends up being Red Hulk.
Yeah, I would say though, I did not like Giancarlo Esposito on this.
Careful, the internet will come after you.
I don't fucking care. It seems like he's having fun, which is fun, but I could not care less. I think the leader stuff was interesting, only if we had like seen more of it, like actual flashbacks, or like at least seen him in the second act, not just like the third act where he just appears. I also think that it's hard because we don't really know what the actual intent of the story was. I love everything with Isaiah Bradley, only because he was written so fucking well in the show, and that's carried on from
that's
the show
performance as well. Film. Like that's a really strong performance.
Yes. Yeah, and to like that scene of him where he's on there, where he comes back to consciousness in the park, and he says like, I can't go back in there.
Yeah, it's absolutely heartbreaking.
It's fucking heartbreaking.
Carl Lumbly is the actor's name, by the way. His IMDb picture, he's in the snappiest of snappy suits, everybody. Fuck me. Outrageous.
This makes him the one of the very few actors who have been in DC and Marvel, because he plays the father of John Jones.
Shut the fuck up.
He plays the father of Martian Manhunter.
That's pretty awesome, actually. What's John Jones's dad's name? Is it Joe Jones?
I have no clue. I don't remember. But he's also in one of the episodes where they reference Captain America, because Guardian has Jimmy Olsen. Guardian has a shield. So it's
Jimmy
a really
Olsen
cool,
Guardian, by the
little
way.
tidbit that nobody.
Oh my god, he did the voice in Young Justice as well. It's Matt Moores. I'm assuming, yeah. Oh no. Okay, this is crazy. In Supergirl, he played Marin Jones, M. apostrophe YRNN Jones. But then in Young Justice, he plays a character, doesn't actually say what the character is, but it's a character called Matt Moores. So M apostrophe AATT M apostrophe ORZZ. I wonder if that's also a manhunter of some sort. Oh, he's fucking Dick Halloran in Doctor Sleep. Oh,
That's true.
Shit
Oh my
on
God,
me. Shit on me. That was the one. Fuck. Man, he's had a really good career. He did the voice of the original John Jones in the Justice League cartoon series.
That's okay. That makes a lot of sense why he was father of John Jones and Supergirl.
That's the voice, like, from that animated series. That's the voice I hear in my head when I read a comic with John Jones in it, which is fairly often because I read a lot of DC shit. Awesome. All right, sorry, we got a little bit sidetracked there. Sorry, so you were saying that story is kind of the backbone of this whole picture?
I don't really understand why the leader was there either. Like, if it was a revenge thing, then, like, why all this? And why does he stay there? Then, like, if he's so easily able to get out, then why does he stay there for, like, 18 years?
I think you're looking for logic where there's just rabbits. Yeah.
There is.
But
that
also,
is true.
and I understand what you're saying. The people's motivations are a little bit weak on the villain side. It's just like it's always about, you know, revenge or power or whatever. The more interesting thing that's going on is the as Tommy said, the war game style, you know, battle that's happening for the resources that are on Celestial Island. Like that's the really interesting story, which is why that amazing dogfight sequence with Sam and Joaquin trying to stop the American and Japanese starting World War III is the more interesting action set piece because it feels like it had stakes. That was the only time I was just sitting there going, holy shit, this might actually end poorly. You know, and Joaquin gets goosed, as we would call it. It's
and Captain America surfs on a
nuke. Well, I mean, it's, I don't know. I just felt like that's where the drama was, and then that sequence is over. I'm like, oh, okay, well, it must be Red Hulk's going to end it, and that doesn't make any sense. Like, and again, like we're a positive podcast, everyone. I enjoyed the movie. I had a good time with it. It had all the elements of movies that I like. I love political thrillers, you know, like Cap 2, actually, you know, or fucking China Syndrome or 3 Days of the Condor. Great movies, all that stuff. And when it was doing that, it was doing it really well. It was doing that part of it really well.
I agree. The sequence where the presentation of adamantium is there, which also dropped.
That's a pretty big one. Maybe we'll leave that to the last thing. No, that's okay. Like we'll just come back to it because I want to talk on that specifically. You know, now that we're in spoiler territory. The other sort of big spoiler for me is, you know, we're not going to ruin the ending or anything. You know, we're just going to let you watch it now, or just if you've already seen it, it doesn't matter. But in the teaser, it's basically the leader saying, "I'm so smart, I can see into other worlds and other dimensions, and you don't know what's coming. There's other heroes and
other possibilities." Yeah, he used the word other
there's other possibilities. Yeah, so like in one place, there's a place which is only fish, and then in another one there's a place where people have hot dogs for fingers. Like I've seen that movie, but yeah, I mean that's obviously teasing Doomsday, which is, you know, a big like multiverse thing, which is them desperately going, let's tie this shit up so that we can get on with the X-Men.
That is so true.
I know, it's so desperate, in fact, that, like you said, at one point, you know, talking about during the presentation at the beginning of the film, just before the assassination attempt by Isaiah Bradley happens against General Ross, or President Ross, rather, POTUS, he's talking about them signing some sort of treaty so that they all share undeniable wealth of resources and elements that are going to come out of Celestial Island, one of which is a substance stronger than vibranium, adamantium. And in my little heart, I went, Addy's going to fucking have a few things to say about this. So, I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Unfortunately, they already spoiled that in the fucking trailers. It's in a 1 second shot where he's doing the presentation, and it clearly says adamantium.
Idiots. Like, it's just... Everybody, you need to fucking feed everybody like little baby birds these days, or you're worried they won't come to your movie. Stop having test audiences to these things. Like, it's absolutely... Len Wein, the fantastic comic books writer, R.I.P., created, in part Wolverine and Swamp Thing, and just, incredibly prolific writer and editor at both DC and Marvel for years and years. He used to say, continuity ties your best writer to your worst writer. And it's so true, thinking about how these movies connect and all that kind of stuff. And I feel that way in terms of the way that they market things as well. Like, they come with this great story, and we're going to do this, and we're going to have this happen, and blah, 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 and then they turn it all in, and then the fucking marketing department makes memes of it all because they're desperate to make up ground or have all of these make $1 billion because they almost always cost that much. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know if that's the move. Yeah, sorry, that was just because you said that they gave away the adamantium thing, which I didn't notice because I'm not going through those things with a fine-tooth comb because I have to sleep and eat and stuff.
Must be fun to have.
Oh, I'm not saying I do. I'm just I have to shove things in my mouth sometimes, if you know what I'm saying. Eh? Oral fixations aside, it's a pretty good picture. It's a good time. There's some really interesting elements in it. It's the most Marvel feeling film that I've felt like they've done in a while, in the traditional sense. Yeah, get into it, everyone. It's well worth a flutter. It's well worth your time. It's not going to make you feel some things that you felt before, but that's just not how it works. Like, constantly chasing the high of the way that things were doesn't work. That's not you. That's already happened. You need to kind of leave that and let these things be what they are. And I don't know, maybe people just don't care as much as they used to, and spectacle wise, it's all been done. I don't know what the story purpose of this is anymore. I don't know what story they're telling. They feel like that we've got to get this out. This is such an important thing to get out, and we've got so much to say. Like, I mean, maybe it never was. I don't know. I mean, when they made Iron Man, they were probably just thinking about money. But by the time they got to, Avengers 2, they were talking about the nature of reality and artificial intelligence and, love between monsters and some real actual drama and pathos. I mean, fucking Kenneth Branagh directed the first Thor movie, for crying out loud. He's the single greatest Shakespearean actor-director of all time. Like, that's not an accident that happens, So now I feel like they're staying the course to stay the course. And if they keep doing pictures of this quality, I'm fine with that, and I'll go and see them. But I want them to get somewhere. I really hope they do.
Yeah, I forgot the point that you just brought up, and I remembered it. I feel like they were trying to do a lot of what Ultron was doing, but with the leader, and just it did not work because it's not that kind of film.
Ultron was such a charismatic... I mean, he was almost understandable in a lot of ways, and that's what you have to do. I didn't understand what... Okay, I know the leader was locked away for however many years, but it didn't explain, like, you're right, like, why now was the big question. Because he was president? Like, yeah, it's a lot of questions. But again, this is kind of like, on Pod Assemble, I said, it's kind of Frankensteined together from a bunch of different scripts and different writers in different places, and it's kind of muddled.
Yep, I do agree. I also, when I heard Harrison Ford say adamantium, because I gasped. Like, not only did I know it, but like also it's so insane to hear that word in an MCU film. Like fucking 7 years ago, you never thought that would happen because Fox was well and running, and now it's dead.
So did you just like pull your pants down and start beating it right there when everyone's like, "Oh my good lord!" Ooh.
No, if I had done that while the U.S. president was getting shot at in the film, what are you trying to do, man?
They would have fucking Homeland Security on your door. Toot sweet, they would.
Do you want to do
favorite parts?
Or like positive
okay, yeah, good call. Yeah, positive stuff. Okay. Definitely for me, it was the conversation after Isaiah Bradley has attempted to assassinate, under mind control, Thaddeus. And it's them in the bunker, and it's like Thaddeus Ross as we know him as the fucking bulldog, and the new Captain America standing there, and they're head to head just after they've had a conversation about him wanting to restart the Avengers. And he's like, that was taken off the table when I fucking got shot at, you idiot. Like, this is not what this is anymore. That was really cool. I love the tension that went on there, yeah.
The conversation between Sam and Bucky.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Senator. Fucking... It's ridiculous. I said it on Tommy's show. I was like, that's like fucking Julian Assange becoming the mayor of New York. Like, it's fucking no way, man. The guy's a war criminal.
Not only is he a war criminal, he's also a terrorist.
I know. He's like public enemy number one. He's responsible for dozens and dozens of sanctioned hits by the US government. Like,
he's already a Senate member in Thunderbolt's trailer.
I know. He does all right. I mean, shit. Next thing you know, he might have his own TV show and then become president. Yeah, I did like that. Having that dynamic back was really great. And as he walks out, he tells him he loves him.
Yeah, and then there wasn't responded well. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Tell him back. Like, he didn't say that shit to Steve, and they were practically cock-docking.
No,
Sorry.
that's great. Docking. That's excellent. Wonderful. I was about to say maybe he didn't say it to him because he'll say it to him later that night when they're in bed together. Fucking. I really did like, something positive about the Red Hulk. I really liked the transformation scene. I thought it was really well executed because we've seen that so many times now. It was hard to do it differently. And as soon as his hand landed and you saw it singe the material of the ground there and how he started sort of turning and stuff. Sorry. Oh, sorry, buddy. Scared the shit out of my cat. It's like, get fucked, and ran off. Poor Perry. He's so skittish. Yeah, I thought that was really, really well executed. And then the actual animation of the Red Hulk, for the most part, I thought was really good. Big red nipples.
My second one is honestly the Celestial Island fight. Like, it's fun. It's the same kind of stuff where it had the same feel of like Winter Soldier, where Cap is fighting against the Quinjet. But I like, after this film, I did go back and watch Winter Soldier and Civil War, but I didn't talk about it because I'm dumb.
That's all right.
But yeah, it felt like an actual set piece that there was like thought in preparation that when they do it. And it has high stakes, and Daniel Mers goes down, and it like, what that's happening. It's intercut by where the leader just kind of hit, and the leader kind of edges.
He is a bit, yeah, absolutely.
Turn into like, show them who you are, show them who you really are. I'm like, what are you trying to do, man?
Yep. It's a bit that way. He's got a big head, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, I've got to agree. I think probably my favorite thing about the film was that, as I said, it's in the wrong place, but that huge aerial dogfight over the Celestial Island was awesome. It was something new that we hadn't really seen. It was different than an Iron Man picture. It was different than a Cap picture. It really had some stakes for the movie, and it was about real conflict, about some real shit happening to real people, as opposed to it just being about these superheroes. So, yeah, dug that the most.
My first is actually in the first fight that Captain America has, and like the big guy beats him and he throws him on the ground, breaks the table, and then like he says something, and then Sam Wilson replies, "No, let's finish this.
Yeah.
I got shit to do today."
That's a great fight, but it's got a little bit more attitude, obviously, but it so mirrors the fight between Cap and Batroc in Winter Soldier, yeah. But yeah, I did that that opening sequence where he's like coming down and he breaks the sound barrier and then lands and says, "Wait for it." And then the sonic boom that followed him is the thing that clears those dudes out. Like, that was a really cool set piece. I did enjoy that a lot, yeah. Awesome, everybody. Captain America, Brave New World, go and check it out. Now, before we go, we have some questions. It's wonderful. Here's the question theme. You do one, and then I'll do one, then you do one, and then I'll do the other three that I have. This one is from my main man, Tommy, from Podcast Assemble. He says, "What does Red Hulk's dick look like?" And I tell you, Tommy, it looks like chorizo. It's a really, really big Spanish sausage, as delicious. So there you go. Just hang on one sec. What do you reckon Hulk's dick looks like?
Just for the camera radiation, I'd say like big red foreskin with like actual green dick inside.
He's like a toffee apple.
I am so glad my parents don't listen to this.
Hulk sticks a toffee apple, Tommy. That's a much better answer. Excellent. What was your question, sir?
What random political topic would make greatest idea to bankrupt Disney Plus?
They'd have to have like a Trump surrogate appear in one of their films and get killed or something. You know what I mean? Like, I think that'd be pretty deadly. Maybe have like a trans actor play someone, or have any more movies that are centered on women, or change Captain America to an African American gentleman or another person of color. Like, I think that they're not making the kind of money they used to, and it's because they're there's people out there who don't live in 2025. Like, it's ridiculous. If you are racist or sexist or fucking transphobic or prejudiced in any way in 2025, you're a fucking loser. You're an absolute loser, and you should go and walk into the ocean, because it's not your time anymore. Like, it is. Get with the fucking program. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, that.
So there you go, Chaz. Hope that wasn't too political for you. My friend Sean asks, yeah, how shit is it? From our perspective, Sean, it's not shit at all. You would fucking hate it though, mate, because I know you well enough. So don't even bother. Okay, next is from our main man Juan. Do you think Anthony Mackie is doing a good job as Cap? Yeah, I mean, so far I've only seen it twice. It'll be interesting to see how he plays in an Avengers film. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that dynamic of like how he bounces off with other people, because I feel like most of Sam Wilson's like comic timing comes with Anthony Mackie improvising. So I hope they let him do that more, because that was one of the best parts of this film.
He's a Cap with a sense of humor, because it's like when Dick Grayson took over as Batman during Grant Morrison's run, and it was Dick Grayson was Batman and Damian Wayne was Robin, and it was like serious Robin, lighthearted Batman, and it was fucking great. The dynamic really worked. Cool. The second part of his question is, are you disappointed there was no cameo setting up the next movie? Really didn't cross my mind, honestly. I mean, I know that Thunderbolts is coming. And I know that they haven't shot anything else. So, yeah.
But there was. Bucky showed up because he's in Thunderbolts that comes on next.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, also, Betty Ross shows up. And like I said on Pod Assemble, just let her be in the fucking movie, would you? For God's sake. She's a great actress. She can play elves and girls who work in record shops and a bunch of other ones. She's great. Just let her. She can play Brad Pitt's wife for 2 scenes while he's in space. Like, it's just, And she can also play Ben Affleck's wife when he's in space for a couple of scenes in another film. Ad Astra she was in, and Armageddon.
Oh my God! I can't believe you pulled Armageddon.
I don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, and I don't want to miss a thing. It's so funny that her dad wrote that song that was then put over the top of her love scene. Like, hang on a minute. That's ridiculous. That would be like my dad being in the room doing my taxes while I'm fucking my wife. Or he was helping me format for GST. Anyway, more to the point. No, actually, not more to the point. I don't know where we were. Oh, we were talking about Betty. Yeah, she's in it also, and God bless. So yeah, no, I wasn't disappointed. One, I honestly didn't think about it. Were you? Were you expecting something? Please let us know. And this is also, we'll come back to what you were saying before, or what you said you wanted to leave to the end. One also asks, who do you think Sam will ask to join the new Avengers? Well, it's got to be people he knows, isn't it? Well, I mean, Joaquin's going to end up being Falcon. I reckon they'll probably get... It'd be cool if they got She-Hulk, but they'll probably get Red Hulk. That's one of the sexiest things ever, is where she picks up that dude and carries him into the bedroom. I'm like, absolutely, that can happen. A new Falcon, a new Hulk of some description. It'd be good to get Kate Bishop in there, but I know she's sort of earmarked for Young Avengers. By the time they get around to that, she's going to be 48. Someone in a suit of armor. Like, I'm just trying to think, like, it'd be cool if they brought in Star-Lord, maybe. Or if Thor came back, or if Rocket came back with his team that he has at the end of Guardians. Yeah,
I would love that, but they wouldn't do that without James Gunn.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like, those people want to return.
There's lots of options. Spider-Man, obviously. He's got to get Spidey in there. And then when Spider-Man gets killed in Secret Wars and we end up having, from the other, when the universes collapse into each other, which is inevitably what's going to happen, and then they can pull from anywhere they want, we have fucking a Miles Morales instead on the team.
Like, that's amazing. But what if, when the worlds collide, we get an Earth where there is a Spider-Man and there's a Miles Morales Spider-Man, and the Peter Parker Spider-Man is Andrew Garfield.
I mean, he's keen. Nah, bring him back.
That.
I'm game for it. I love him. He'll always be my favourite. Excellent. One more question. Another one from Chaz, which came through my feed. So I want to read it out because it's actually a really good question. What kind of kick-ass scene would you like to see in an MCU movie? Deadpool and Wolverine had a nod to Old Boy that got him wet. Chaz, this is. It got Chaz wet. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. So like an homage to something. I'd love to see like something in the vein of the like bamboo tree top fighting scene from Crouching Tiger. But maybe have it between
like a lot of wire work.
Yeah, like that proper like really extended stuff and not when they went and did it all in fucking Crouching Tiger. Charlie's Angels and stuff, but the proper stuff from Crouching Tiger. That'd be really cool, and it could be like something as simple as in the next season of Hawkeye, he has to fight another archer who's just as proficient, or you bring back Kate Bishop's prospective stepdad, the swordsman, and he's having a fucking battle like that because he was an awesome character, and I really hope they come back with him.
Yeah. Isn't he coming back in Wonder Man? I believe he's coming back in Wonder Man as that character.
Cool. Let him do that kind of fight sequence in a Wonder Man. I can't wait.
I would love to have like the Ned and Clint relationship, but it's Kate Bishop and Kamal Khan.
That's not really a fight scene, though. Unless they fight.
Shit, that's... okay. That could be fun. Also, but I would love to see like an homage to Days of Future Past. Whenever they do X-Men, I would love to see like their homage to the Days of Future Past opening while they're in a danger room fighting Sentinels.
Yeah, that's cool. Or do like a similar thing like they did with Quicksilver, like a sequence sort of dedicated to that, like the one at the White House or the one at the school. That'd be pretty cool. And also, you said before with Clint and Natasha, it'd be cool if in Thunderbolts, for instance, because they do a lot of punching on, and she even says it in the trailer. She goes, "Oh, cool, we've just got guns and punch people." It'd be really cool in that film to see a John Wick style gun battle where she's like seriously like, unloading a clip, unloading the clip, dropping the mag, and then reloading before the other one hits the ground, kind of thing. Like really proficient gun porn, like a John Wick film. That'd be really cool. That last John Wick film is still one of the best action movies ever made. We're gonna have to do an episode on it one day because it's absolutely peak. So yeah, there you go, friends. That's Captain America: Brave New World. Addie, you had something to say?
I would also love in Hawkeye Season 2 if both Hawkeyes team up with Daredevil to fight Poindexter. That would be fucking rad. Let's do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be good. It's going to be fucking great. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to talk about it. And we'll do that in a few weeks' time when it opens. But until then, I love you, mate.
I love you too.
Thanks for hanging out, talking about Cap. Thanks, everyone. Look after yourselves. We'll see you next week. And remember,
stay amazing, stay safe, and I'm not fucking Steve Rogers.